Hey everyone, it is Dave. Welcome in. It is time to talk about module number 6. This week we have a very interesting lecture. We've talked a lot about the development of art over this time period, but we haven't really talked about architecture. And this lecture is, first one, at least, is all on modern architecture, which also mirrors the entire modern art movement. So it's something that begins and ends at the same time. We talked about Van Gogh in the last lecture. This week we're going to talk about the rest of the post-impressionists. We're going to be into the 1900s with Fauvism, and then our last lecture is on Picasso and his style of art that he creates, because he invents an entirely different category of art, which is abstraction, and that's going to be in the lecture of the life and loves of Pablo Picasso. We have an architecture worksheet to complete this week, along with 2 journals. Next week will be the last of the material for this course, and of course week 8 will be only the final and submitting that last batch of journals. So with that, let's head over. We'll take a look at module number 6. All right, welcome in everyone. Here is the Canvas site. This week is module 6. We're going to go ahead and publish that now since I'm thinking about it. And we'll go ahead and see what we've got inside. So up top, we have our usual suspects, our video you're watching, our action plan for the week, and of course a link to my office hours every Monday and Wednesday, 4:30 to 7 p.m. After that, we've got our lectures. The very first one you want to do is the Modern Architecture lecture. It has the lecture, study guide, and then for the further exploration section, it's got some links to Falling Waters website and Facebook page. Also the Stallhouse website, which is part of the Case Study House project, and then a list of all the case study houses that are around Southern California. I just have one video of walking around the outside, since you're not allowed video of the inside of Falling Water. This is the most iconic house that we really are going to cover during our lecture. You want to do that lecture first because that is the basis for our project this week. So if you scroll down to the Modern Architecture worksheet, what I'm going to have you do is fill out this worksheet on another modern architecture building. So what you're going to submit is the worksheet, and once again, with anything like the worksheet here, please make sure to use the one that is provided for you. You're going to choose a modern building, and after the lecture you'll learn that a modern building is made with material such as steel or concrete, glass. You're going to see that it's built between specific years, the 1850s to 1950s, and also utilizing the skeleton and skin system, and that'll all be explained in the lecture. The first thing you do is you pop in a picture of the building here. In question 2, you're going to provide the name of the building, the location, when it was constructed. Mostly all the facts about the building go here. Question 3 deals with the architect, architects, or architectural firm. The building materials, you pop into number 4 here. For 5, what makes the building modern? 6, why did you choose this building? Why do you like it? What drew you to it? And then finally, you want to list some sources where you got your information from. And it's totally okay for them to be websites, things like that. Please provide a hyperlink. And you're going to generally create small paragraphs under each of these questions. Something like question 4 might be a sentence or 2. Whereas question number 2 may be a more fully formed 7, 8, 9 line paragraph. So it is going to vary in terms of size. Now, by the time you're done, you should have roughly anywhere from 25 to 30 lines of text, and that's somewhat equivalent to a 1-page essay. So that's really what I'm looking for as far as the length of this project goes. It's worth 40 points, and I have the breakdown of the rubric down below, how that filters out. So let's head back to the module. And our next lecture is going to be on post-impressionism. I've got the lecture, the study guide, and then the further exploration section. Just has one video, It is optional. It's a really interesting film, and so I always suggest bookmarking it, watching it after the semester's over. And this deals with a person's art collection who is very, very wealthy, and he dies, and it's how the lawyers and government and people like that rip the art collection apart. It's sad and disturbing, but it's also quite fascinating. So it's well worth the watch there. And then after that, we've got Fauvism, lecture study guide. This also covers some of the design movements as well, but there is no further exploration section here. The life and loves of Pablo Picasso not only deal with Picasso, but it also deals with Cubism, and that is the very first time we have abstract art. We've got our lecture, study guide, and the further exploration section has a couple of videos. And we've got the first one is actually a segment from the only film I've ever seen of Picasso, and it's 2 hours of him drawing. So this 2-minute segment is a perfect representation of the film. And then one that's very important is Picasso's Guernica. This is his largest painting that he ever completes. It's about 10 feet tall and about 26 feet wide, if I remember correctly. It's a big painting. And it deals with a horrible incident from the Spanish Civil War of the 1930s. And so please watch that as well. I talk a little bit about that during the lecture, but not as immersive as that video is. We're going to have 2 journals this week as normal, and we'll take a look at them here. The first journal is about Fauvism. It is Notes of a Painter. It is written by Matisse. And again, I'm just looking for a reflection. What did you find interesting about this reading? Do you think it is relevant, even if you are an artist? The way he talks about how art is of its time and place. So it's a really passionate reading, and I hope you enjoy that. The next one is a much shorter reading on Picasso and Cubism. It's just about 2 pages in length, but it's about him talking about the changing ideas of art as we get into abstraction. All right, that is everything. I'm going to look forward to talking to you shortly about module number 7. We have a film in that module as well, a great documentary about a Jackson Pollock painting that a lady finds at a thrift shop. She buys it for $5 and she wants $50 million for it now. So it's a great story, and we'll be finishing out the material as well for this class in module 7. Have a great week, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.